Holy crap, I'm doing a motor video. Those are rare. Hey folks, it's Ben. I'm here with two trash picked motors. They're picked at the same time. I will link now to a video of them both. They're both, I think, 60s, 50s. I think 58. I'll look at the VIN here in a sec. But we have this girl here, which I believe is a 4-stroke, might be a 10, maybe an 8. It's pretty big. Has electric start, push button, turn it on, kick it, all that cool stuff with the gas tank and all the... It technically is cool and ready to go. This motor here, unfortunately, isn't ready to go. And the reason for that, and there's a lot of crap on it, is this. So we take the power belt here and we turn it. And we turn it this way. And we go, and we go, and we go. Uh-oh. It hit something. And if you turn it back the other way, and it's cold here, so it turns over hard. We keep going. Keep going. Something's broken inside. So our job is to find out what's broken. That's the fun part here. Now, we're not going to like shred it apart because some parts of this motor might be needed for this one. So this one does turn over fine. I've never started it. But let's take this one apart on the bench. All right, so we're on the bench. And we have a serial number of 590311. So we're 1959, I think 3rd month, 11th day, something like that. A make or model of a 19, and type of a 70, 60, and a 10. Our unit here, the spark plug hole is pretty tarnished, I guess, and inside is quite rusty. Not going to see anything move if we turned it over anyway. If there was a production sticker here, it's gone. 2 holes drilled, don't look like they're factory. And we have an embossed B and S on the side for Briggs and Stratton. So it is an older girl, but like I said, it does turn. We'll take this off and make sure there's nothing in our fan that's keeping us from turning, but really I think this motor is toast. But let's start with the fuel tank. To do that, we'll disconnect the fuel line here. The bowl is gone, and we got 2 big screws here we can undo. So let's take those off. Okay, so that broke amazingly easy, so that's cool. I'm hoping not to break anything on this motor, as I don't have a lot of access to older Briggs, and besides the one I have in the background over there, I don't really have any. So if I do come across an older one that's in really rough shape but kind of run, I want to have all these parts for me. So I'll finish taking this off, but it did come off quite easy. These are squeaky little fellas. Just came a creaking out. Let's try this one. I haven't broken it yet, so let's give it a spin. If I can with one hand. There we go. I guess I could put some thread lubricant on it, but why? Almost there. Just focusing on the back anyway. All right. Those are out because these are undone. Our straps for our tank. So we'll put those back together. I don't know if that side's going to come off as easy. I guess it should. Now the gas tank itself has a large dent in it, so its value is less than awesome. Pop. And so now it's off, but it's rust-free, fairly. And it still has its bottom connection, so even if we unthread that, we'll be good to go as well. So that's cool. Let's set that aside. We're going to set everything aside. I'm going to thread these nuts back on those bolts right here, and then we're going to continue on. In order to take the brackets off, we're going to undo the head part, and we will do that in this video. But for now, let's move to the carburetor side of the motor. Now there's a lot going on the side of this motor here. We have no exhaust, so that's fine, and we have a governor which is here, and it is kind of free. This side of the motor is very covered in oil, and I haven't even looked at the oil for sure. But what I'd like to do is take off the carburetor intact. So there's no attachment here. This looks like it's missing a bolt. We have an air filter attachment here, but that whole piece is coming off. These look like 1/2 inch. We have our spark plug, sparker, right, cable, and we have our fuel in. So let's take the fuel line off and we'll set that aside. And then what we'll do after that is hopefully take it off as an assembly. One cool fuel line. Leo's decided to join me in this video. That's on. So we've got two. They're not 1/2 inch, they are 7/16. So let's see if this will come off nice for me. Oh yeah. One. This one's hard because the governor rod's right here. And I don't see a tie into the carburetor. Oh, there it is. There's a little rod right there, which should be able to pop out. Sweet, there we go. So we had our throttle linkage to somehow our governor to our carburetor. We'll put this bolt back in. There's a gasket there. Neat, draws the air in, and then we have our fuel assembly and whatever, and awesomeness, and a drain, and this won't be hard. It's got that thing it hits. Pop. There's one. Gentle taps. Pop it comes. Nice. The big reveal says, yep, that's not going to fit. But looking inside here. All right, so nothing in here except the flywheel. So let's get that top front cover off of it, and we'll have this broken down a little more. Well, I've got a 34 millimeter here for a drive axle that happens to fit this thing just fine. So let's see, go pop. Oh, there it goes. That popped it, whatever it was. So now we can take the nut off. I can take this cup off. I can then take this off and reveal, well, there's a lot of crap under there. Mouse poop and stuff, rust, ventilation for the motor, of course. Oh, and that's even got a little key. And then finally we've got this huge flywheel, which I do have a puller for. Yeah, so I don't know what's wrong. But it's time to take the head off now. I got all this exposed. Spark plug wire, all the points and stuff are going to be inside. But let's go ahead now and take the head off and see what's the piston hitting. Maybe the piston isn't even moving, it's broken. I'm not sure yet. So let's do that. And we're probably in 1/2 inch land, and we are. So let's switch over to the 1/2 inch. Pull these heads off. This gas tank bracket, in order to get it out, it's going to want the same deal. Let's see what the head reveals. Not much. Cooling plate, it's full of shit. And it's kind of dirty in there, so airflow wasn't great, but that could have been after. One stud's kind of dinging us up a little bit. Come on, you. A little bit seized in the hole. There we go, pop. So here we go, look at that. The head's nice, so that's cool. And we have our head gasket. Heat and corrosion, looks like. We might be able to get that out. So let's clear the top off here with the brush. So we have our piston. My guess is it's not going to move as I grab this. No, it is. And it still hit something. Is it a cam issue maybe? Could be. So we come up. I don't know which way is. We're going to be going this way for air ventilation. So let's see here. We have a hot stroke. No, there's the intake opening. So, okay. Intake's coming down. It closes. Compression stroke. Bang. Open exhaust. That's the problem. So it's in the cam. because otherwise it's cool, but where the exhaust should be, it is rock solid in here. So my guess is that this motor had a valve problem. So we'll find something broken in that. There should be an access port to see those. At least on newer ones there is. Really angry. But the piston is free and so is the intake. You can see light through it, so that's cool. Not a good seal anymore either, they're kind of rusty. But yeah, right here we should be able to see if there's any damage or not. So let's pop that off while we're here. Good old 1/2 inch says too big. Cut that down to 7/16. And it wants to be tight again. Let's pop that off. Guess I should have guessed that with the 2 rotations. So that is done. That is clean and oily like we like it to be. Pop that off. That's not super oily. Bring our camera down. So we have our valves there. So we have the intake. We're still hitting clunk. So we're gonna dive deeper in this motor, but we're gonna have lunch first. So neat discovery. Let's keep trucking. All right, back from lunch. And so I'm thinking, well, what's wrong here? Is it like in the cam mechanism or is it something else? So I took a big screwdriver. Of course, with this open, you can lift up on, this is the intake valve, right? And of course it freely goes up, right? Like it should. So it would open up the port and close down. But when you go to the exhaust side, nope, it's not. It's quite seized. So it's the valve itself that has caught, it froze, not the cylinder. And so when the cam comes around to hit it up there, the cam itself is also good, but it just can't push this valve up. And it's not even on the valve seat. I can even get it to wiggle here, like you could the intake valve. It's just stuck. So what's happened, and I'm betting this is the main reason, is with no back pressure, it ran really hot. And of course it wrecked this, it seized this head bolt, which they normally do anyway, but it's being so hot through here, I'm willing to bet it overheated it and caused it to get stuck in the block. So it's not that it was a bad valve, it just wasn't run right, and hence the issue. So I'm coming down to it that it was mostly just run to death. It seized the, maybe it was running fine and then they shut it down and it never got a chance to cool and somehow it got seized. And that's that. This should turn off, I'm guessing. Why did it? The whole thing's coming off, that's fine. But my guess is that this is a breather of some kind. Usually they have these go right back into the carburetor nowadays and it just burns off what goes through. So this is hodgepodge here. Looks like someone put a homemade screw to cover up the points. All right, so the 4 bolts are out. Now the question is, how hard will this thing come out? Okay. Not hard is the answer to that one. That is plumb full of oil. So let's lift this off to the side on a rag. And this bag of hazardous containment can go right into oil recovery. So another fantastic motor reveal. Thing's been sitting for so long. Hello, let's take a look inside and see. Sweetness. So here we go. We got the oil whip there. Steel gears, right? Fancy pants. We've got our top of our piston, which is super clean. And our cam, which I'll be happy. And yeah, our lifter. That's, we're rocking on the intake valve here. Let's get some focus. There we go. So this is our That's our exhaust and that's our intake. So as it comes around and it hits it, that lifter is frozen. So that's not cool. Inside it's pretty clean though. I like it. Most engine cases are. There's our breather hole. There's our governor connection and or ignition connection. So fantastic on that. My mallet here, see if it'll be friendly to me. It's just a light sheet metal to and well, it's okay, I guess. It's not it's smooth. It's a little worn in those points there, but there's no obvious ridges. Our knife is now abandoned. Whew, look how big this girl is. They didn't make them small, that's for sure. It's it looks surprisingly in not bad shape, honestly, either. There's no obvious issues that's stepping out. Inside of that's aluminum. It's smooth with no lip, so it's actually fairly nice. That's all right. See if we can pop it free like this. It should pop it off. Pop. There's that. Sweetness. There's a flywheel for you. It's been balanced. You can hold on to my tool if you want to. Wow, look at the oil on that beast. It's big. Caution, do not ever remove clamp. Machine with clamp. Oh, do not operate machine without clamp in place. Yeah, okay. That's cool. Whatever. I did pick the right one. Look at me go. But I didn't give myself much turning space. Wow. Look at that. That's funky. How clean it is underneath. Now I can take this darn electronics off. Maybe. I need to take that out because that's going to be a pain. This wrench just the right size? No. But this one is. That's my guess as to what this is. Or just a good ground. Probably a ground. That's free. Sweet. There you go. Of course, it's magnetic. Nothing fancy here either. Just some corrosion that kept it on there tight. Uh-oh, that thing. So that's cool. That's technically salvageable. Technically, we haven't come across anything outside of our sticky exhaust valve. Man, talk about dumb. So it is just barely able to fit it all. And I can't actually get my, but I can actually use the threads on this guy and the other side to pull on this. Now, if it's not pressed on and I'm being a dork, well, no damage done, but it is coming though, so, and not easily. What a versatile puller. This, I got it from Princess Auto. Maybe we should comes. Man, what a magnet that is. And the key is on it, so it's keyed on. Oh, poop. That flywheel have a key? No, it doesn't have a key, because it doesn't need a key, because it's not keyed in. Holy crap, makes sense. Because it's not part of the electrical system, right? Usually the flywheel has the magneto in it to create the magnetic force for the spark. But in this case, it didn't need one because there's one inside. Fancy pants. Here's the key. Let's not lose that. So this side's ready to come out. Right, back in half-inch land. Ooh. Off. I heard the pop. It says top on that. Cute. There should be nothing keeping that in, except my ability to not want to get my hands grossly dirty. Oh, shit. That one might. Oh. There we go. Now we're winning. There is a steel crankshaft from Arma. A-R-M-A. The throw does not look too worn. Splash lubrication. The cam is actually quite, the cam driver on that side is actually quite cool too, and the bearing's fair. Both bearings are fair. This engine's in pretty good shape, except for some jerk tearing it apart. And another whack with this girl, and she comes. Nice. Machined in. Aluminum again. Did not know they use that much aluminum. So we'll pop this valve out that I can reach. Get that retainer off. Maybe I can, maybe I can't. There's half of it gone. So there's the intake valve, which we suspected was in good shape, but how am I going to get the exhaust valve out? Show you. Now there's no, that's a hot mess. So this valve is still dinged up. That seat is toast now. Thanks, Ben, for doing that. And it still wiggles in the bore. But it's just not cool. So I got that going for me on this one. The exhaust valve seized in there. That's where I fling a spring at my face. Okay. So we got those. And this. Let's not lose those, please. There's 4 of them. Let's keep them all. But I'm kind of lost on how do I get that out and how do I get the camshaft out. So if you guys want to leave me some suggestions on that, especially with the locked valve in there, that'd be great. And if I haven't looked it up already, maybe I'll do a continuation video on how to do that. But for now, guys, this block is pretty much shorted, right? Still got the coil on there and the openings and stuff, and all the parts ready for the next motor that might need them. But with that, I guess I'll say adieu. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Leave any questions or comments down below, and be sure to subscribe to my channel for awesome updates on what I'm doing. Please check out the next video I've got lined up for you, and also check out my Patreon page if you want to support what we're doing here. And finally, check out my other less tractory page, Red Barn Homestead. You can subscribe to that too, see some awesome stuff. And we'll see you next time.